Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today I have my RX7 FD with me. As everybody knows, the RX7 is known for brittle plastic over the years. So my son got in the car with me one day. I told him to close the door. And the funny joke is with RX7s, people kind of crack the window and close the door by the window sill. So he grabbed the door handle, pulled it, and it just snapped a little. I think he was 6 at the time, maybe 7, but snapped it. So what I'm going to show you is I have a handle by BubbleTech, and I'm going to be putting this on a very solid piece of plastic, and just kind of walk you through the process of, or not walk you through, but kind of show you a little bit of repairing that handle. So we'll be back in a little bit to show you kind of steps of what to take off and how this BubbleTech works. At the end, I'm going to be putting the leather, or I don't even know if it's real or not, but the leather from RX7, or sorry, RX7, Mazda, onto the handle. And BubbleTech does offer a leather handle and stitched real nice, but I'll be using the one that came from Mazda. All right, see you back in a little bit. All right, so the first thing you have to do is make sure you pop off the door or the cover within this little tray. That's where the knob and the handle goes. But make sure you pop this off. There's going to be a small screw in there. Unscrew that, and then from there, all right. And so now what you will need to do is take off the cover for the mirror. There will be a black cover for the mirror here, and then the cover for the door handle. There'll be a door handle cover here. So take those off, and then along the edges of your door, you're going to have different screws. So take off those screws. You're going to have 2 on the side, and then you're going to have 2, or yeah, 1, and that was another one, but yeah, 1 on this side. After you take that off, you just pop the door cover off, and then slide right off, and you have this wire hanging on. So just unbolt this wire. This goes to the lock mechanism, not lock mechanism, the window switch. And then you're gonna have just screws laid out all around the cover. So just take all those screws off, and that will allow you to get to this without damaging anything on the car. Okay, we already have brittle plastic. We don't want to break anything else, so make sure you take all the screws off. You may get a few screws on here that are already broken, but if they are, oh well. You can probably get you another like a door handle. I don't know what you want to call it, but you may want to get another one of these, but mine's pretty solid. But that's pretty much it for taking off the door seal and kind of getting everything prepped for the new BubbleTech handle. Alright, so here's a dry fit of it. Got all the nuts and bolts in. The only thing I have issue with is that this nut, or sorry, this screw, a little short to actually go into this part of it. So that could be achieved or fixed by cutting down this a little bit so the screw has a little bit more bite into it. But the dry fit's pretty nice. Feels pretty solid. The only other concern I have is that BubbleTech only has one screw versus Mazda, they give you 2. So, not that I'm really concerned about that. I truly believe that one screw will hold it, but I mean, I just kind of, if it's there, use it. But the dry fit's pretty good. Has a few gaps in it, but that's there so that way we can put the cover off of this one onto the BubbleTech one. All right, so this is the handle that broke, and so what we're gonna do is take the covering off of this and put it on the BubbleTech cover. So since you won't be able to really slide this off, what you will need to do is just take an X-Acto knife, and I'm using this from my RC planes, and just kind of cut it right here, right on the seam. I'm gonna cut it down on the seam. And this peels right up. And you're probably wondering, okay, you get it off, but how are you gonna put it back on? So what we're gonna do is, we will just use some 3M adhesive spray to spray back on this, and put it on the BubbleTech. All right, so this is it back off, and I have the cover off the OEM. And now just kind of slide it around on the BubbleTech. Make sure everything fits good before you decide to glue it down. The BubbleTech one's a little bit thinner, but not by too much. There's a little bit of overlap on it, just a hair, but not that much. So what I'm gonna do now is just get some glue it on, and then screw it back on. Okay, so I have the factory Mazda cover on the new BubbleTech handle, and I used 2 different adhesive. One was the 3M like trim adhesive, pretty easily. So I suggest not getting this one. It's not sticky enough or tacky enough to keep this stuck to it. So what I went with the Super 77, which is a more stickier compound, and allowed it to dry more tacky and pretty much won't come off. They have others, but I would suggest going with this one. I believe it was $9 at O'Reilly's, but I like this one better than that one. Nothing's wrong with that one. Its application is not, it's not for this. So I would go with at least the Super 77 from 3M. All right, so now what I'm going to do is put the handle back onto the door panel, or not the door panel, sorry, the insert, and then we'll see how it looks after that. All right, so with the BubbleTech, these little mounts were a little bit too thick for the screw to bite in to the mounts here. So what I had to do is take my Dremel and just kind of Dremel off a couple millimeters off of each one of these. This one was actually okay, but I still just took some off just for the heck of it. But this one was definitely too thick. It was only allowing just a little bit to protrude out, so not enough to get a bite. So now I have enough to kind of bite into that mount. Okay. All right, so here it is all together, back onto the mount. Again, it only has one screw mount versus the 2 that the OEM part has. Slight little gap here because of the thickness of the OEM was a slight thicker than the BubbleTech, and then I kind of mounted the cover just slightly lower than I should have. So, but other than that, it's still a good piece of quality, I would say. We'll see how it works when once I get it mounted back to the door. All right, we have everything back together. I'm going to put the door panel on the door and then test out the strength or the integrity of the repair. All right, so that is pretty much it. That's the replacement of the door handle. As you see, really nice and solid piece of work. Reason why I have this hanging out is because I forgot to mention that there's a screw that mounts the top of this bracket onto the actual door frame. So you have to pop this out and then just access that bolt right inside of this little housing here, similar to the one that's in here. Exact same screw. They're just in two different places. Once you get that done, just pop it back in and everything is good to go. So that's pretty much it. There's another one on the market that's about, I believe, $350. It's all metal. Obviously the quality is going to be better because it is metal. It'll hold up. The price was a little bit steeper than I wanted to pay. So I think the BubbleTech is a good alternative to that piece. I'm going to show you quickly before the end of the video. On the other side, the tray door was broken, so I went ahead and purchased that from BubbleTech too. So we'll take a look at that real quick and then pretty much be signed off from this repair. All right, so I finished doing the driver's side door handle, grab handle, and so this is the other thing that broke on my on my RX7. This pretty much split in half one day. It was already actually broke, but went ahead and purchased this from BubbleTech. Pretty easy install. You just need to have a hex screw that goes in, and then there's an adapter that goes into this. On this right here. So just pull that off, like a little small black nipple. So adapter that goes into the factory door. So you'll need to take that off in order for the BubbleTech one to work. Slide it onto that little rod, and then all you do is take the screw from BubbleTech and slide that into the hole on the right hand side, and that will go into the little mount or the female end on your actual door. And then that's pretty much it. Very nice and solid, a whole lot thicker than the factory mount, but good quality. So if you want to cover it up, you can, or leave it black as the factory panel is, you can. All right, but that's it for this repair. Hopefully you learned a little something with it, and learned a little bit about BubbleTech. If you need to upgrade your door handle from it being splitting, hopefully this is a good video to show you how to do it. All right, till next time.